Johns and Mashitas, this is internet personality Vangelus, and check it out, Blurr's a headmaster now. Deluxe, Blurr, and Hyperfire did some of the work in getting the shock of non-headmaster headmasters out of the way right away in Wave 1, and continues Titan Return's secret mission of also being filled with massive 86 through 88 fan wankery. Titan Master Hyperfire ain't haywire, he's painted. Like he's one of the best painted individual Titan Masters in the North American line. The silver shoulders and gloves, the black boots, the blue face, it all brings him to life. And in a lovely cold palette. Hyperfire is one of my favorite Titan Masters, and aside from his paint job, I also love his extra transformation step, extending a head thingy to properly represent Blurr's OG noggin. Unfortunately, this extra piece is criminally loose out of the package, and I had to do a lot of thickening work to make it more functional. That aside, this is also a decent Blurr head. If I had one big crit, it'd be how dead neutral the expression is. I also have things to say about the colors, but let's build to that. Actually, let me say this right up front. Blurr's weird turquoise-ish color has proven incredibly hard for me to accurately capture. It reflects light in a way that makes it look good on camera. Too good. This clip's been heavily doctored to try and show the actual look of the toy. Bear in mind that from here on out, what you see looks better than how the figure appears to the naked eye. Titan's Return Blurr is a cheater, and I don't want to have to heavily doctor every single piece of footage. I got Scourge and Trigger Happy reviews to make. Hyperfire has a spacious driver's seat in Blurr's vehicle mode, which totally throws back to his old 1986 era 2005 hovercar form. It's more narrow and curvy, but stuff like the hood shield makes it really clear what's up. It's also got most of the paint, because listen, Deluxe Blurr is kinda light on paint. I think Hyperfire might have taken a lot of the app allocation for himself, but we'll see what I mean later. Oh, also, Blurr's cockpit causes a weird gap in the middle of the roof of the vehicle mode. You can lean the seat back to try to fix it, but that just means there's a hole above Hyperfire's head, and I don't like the look of that at all. There are 3 little wheels underneath, which function a lot better than I first expected at letting this guy roll on a table. You can also store Blurr's gun under the hood, and place a Titan Master on the solo foot pegs found on either side of the chassis. Vroom! If you want to get a little nuts, the hood shield can detach, deploy a foot, and flip over to become a smaller Titan Master vehicle that looks way better than it has any right to look. There's even surface sculpting on the newly revealed hood stump, making all this part's formery look extremely intentional. By the way, the hood shield has 5mm pegs on either side, and there are 5mm ports on either side of Blurr's alt mode. Play pattern! Blurr has got a super straightforward and effective transformation into robot mode, which one could at least partially attribute to his vehicle mode being kind of a stick. The shoulders double hinge their way up the torso while the legs unfurl and use opening hatchways to avoid hollow calf syndrome. I also dig how the driver's seat becomes the midriff, and hey, no need to parts form the hood shield. Hope you like backpacks. Finally, great news, the Titan Master just plugs in and works on mine. Hooray! This is a darn good Blurr. He looks all slender and athletic and well-proportioned with pointy feet and a windshield chest and a huge backpack if you don't parts form anything. I like it. The paintwork, however, is a joke. He has nigh imperceptible darker blue on his shins, topped with some tampographed sticker-style detail, and that's it. Everything else is from his alt mode, and mostly hidden from a frontal view. He's a monochrome blue man, and it's not even the right blue. Titan's Return Blurr looks like a proper Blurr who's been run through a turquoise and greenening filter. At least his gun is silver. He can hold it in either hand or mount it on a forearm, and the same can be said for his shield. It all works alright, but I wish his shield didn't end up riding so high up his arm. Like, I'm not into how it crosses the line of his elbow joint. It's seriously disturbing to me how much worse this guy looks to my own naked eye right now, and if I glance down at the LCD monitor on this camera, he looks all nice. Anyway, his posability is fine. He's got the Titan Master ball-jointed neck, and that allows him for just a little bit of tilt, just a little bit of looking up, and not very much looking down because his chin kind of butts right into his collar. His shoulders have got riveted forward-backward motion, and then a separate hinge to go up like this. His shoulder things do collide with his head eventually. He's got bicep swivels, mushroom pegged, a hinged riveted elbow joint that goes the solid 90. Wrist swivels, which was a super nice surprise back when this guy came out, and a waist joint, and some ball socket hips, what allow for him to do the full Van Damme splittery. He's got mushroom peg thigh swivels, just beyond 90-degree hinged knee, which looks fantastic for an athletic runner type like Blurr. And that's about it. His feet fold up on transformation joints. I don't think this accomplishes that much. You can have them, I guess, as a separate point of balance down here. And you know what? No, I take it back. That does accomplish a whole lot. I eat my words. Anyway, Blurr here is a darn posable robot. He's got wrist joints and a waist swivel, which are not something you necessarily can take for granted on Deluxe Transformers, or really any Transformers in a main line anymore. And he's just a great deal of fun to pose. He's a great base body. And let me tell you, if you could see what he actually looked like as opposed to this idealized version... In fact, you know what? Here. That's what he looks like to me, sort of. I've doctored this clip heavily again. This body with better colors is something that would make me happy. Spoiler alert, I've got like 3 other versions of this guy now, and they all look better. Titans Return Blurr is a darn good toy at its core, but the North American delivery is real darn flaccid. And I think my wonderful little boy Hyperfire might be partially to blame. He really ate up the paint apps, but I love how he looks. That said, the overall hue is just too greeny turquoise for a Blurr in my opinion. So he not only looks monochrome in robot mode, he looks monochrome in the wrong tone. But man, what a great robot mode, what a solid vehicle mode, what a quick and fun transformation. This design has legs. Thank goodness this isn't the only way to get a hold of it. Anyway, this has been Internet Personality Vangelus, and would you believe me if I said I have 3 versions of this design and am still ready for the Nautica that's coming in the Velocitron gift set? Of course you would. I'm eerily predictable.